Did you wear a black armband when they shot the man who said peace could last forever? And in my first memories, they shot Kennedy. I went blind when I learned to see, so I never fell for Vietnam. We got the war in D.C. to remind us all that you can't trust freedom when it's not in your hands. When everybody's fighting for the promised land, yeah. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fluffenhammer. Roll your funky music, white boy.
Yeah, hi guys.
That's the question always is, where does the cold open come from?
Where does the cold open come from?
That is taken from Guns N' Roses' Civil War, from Use Your Illusion Part 1, released in 1992. Because
oh my god.
Recently, I went on a rediscovery of Guns N' Roses. I found weird moments in my life.
Yeah, brilliance. I like the fact that the cold opens are sort of that idiosyncratic. I think that's brilliant.
It's genuinely, what have I done over the last couple of weeks?
Yes. What have I been interested in the last couple of days?
What has my ADHD brain just decided to focus on?
Yeah.
What have I become hyper-focused on for the last week? Well, let me see. For some reason, it's been Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, where not only have I listened to both albums multiple times, I've also deep dived into some documentaries, read some journal entries, gone right the way in, because I've discovered that those albums are actually better than I expected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, Daffodil. Yes, we are all suitably melted. It's like a fucking inferno at the moment. It's like a circle of hell, and I'm normally used to that.
I'm hoping you're enjoying the chest hair. It's the only time you're going to see me with chest hair.
We can zoom in on it. We can have a zoom in if
we
you
should
like.
actually have a zoom on the chest hair. Although, Adam, I am very competitive about my hairiness, and I'm telling you, you lose. All right, you lose.
Oh,
I am the hairiest guy here.
Oh, I'm wearing shorts. You don't want to get into that argument.
This is normally the kind of argument I have in the company of gay friends. But if you want to, we can.
I take my hairiness very seriously.
I take my hairiness very seriously. It's very competitive.
See, Gruff doesn't float in a pool due to buoyancy. He floats because of hair.
Because of hair, yeah.
I've seen him in Center Parks. Is what happens.
I'm fairly certain I could get shot with small caliber rounds, and it would get caught in the chest hair if I got hit in the chest.
I always remember being at Center Park with Andy and just sitting under the fire, under the waterfall, and being told I look like a capuchin monkey. So
yeah, you did. You did look like a capuchin monkey. I wasn't lying.
So, guys, when you came to the Fluffenhammer, did you expect this? Did you expect sort of competitions on who's like the beariest bear amongst us?
No, Gruff's not a bear. He's a monkey.
Well, there is that.
It's a very different gay category, I'm sure.
It is. Absolutely. There's the gorilla. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, he's not a gorilla. He's a.
No.
I was going to say, unfortunately, I don't think I'm allowed to be an ape. I think it's it's going to be chimp all the way down, isn't it?
You could be an orang. No, you're not mean enough to be a chimp. You could be an orangutan. Oh. They're nice. People like orangutans. You're not mean enough or stupid. Well, no, chimps aren't stupid, but you're not mean enough to be a chimp.
Mean. Yeah, they're bloody mean.
Absolutely, they're the last thing I want to be is an actual orangutan, because an actual chimp, because those things are evil.
I could be an orangutan. That'd be all right. That's fine.
So, yeah, guys, Games Workshop podcast, hobby podcast.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Cassie says Gruff's not a bear. My entire understanding of him has been broken. I am a bear. Unfortunately, that bear is a panda. Basically, I'm lazy and I just need you to feed me. That's it.
That bear. Yeah, he's a fake digital bear. He can fuck off.
Fuck you, Craig.
Yeah.
What I would like is some kind of little flash animation where Craig is just shot from a distance by hunters. I see him running with a microphone in one hand. No ceremony, just right to the back of the head.
Yeah, just completely unceremonious.
So, what have people been doing around the hobby over the last couple of weeks? Because it has been a little while.
Oh, God, it has been a while, yeah.
So, yeah, let's begin with you, George. Without getting...
Me? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, my God. Well, it has been the summer of chaos, hasn't it? So I've been busy. You know, I've been really bloody busy. I got all, and you know, this is me showing my weak side. I did get all of those special edition Chaos Codices, the really expensive ones. I got all of them. And I did get the I may have mentioned this in the last episode, but I did get the Chosen of Slaanesh box set as well. That's got all the new Empress Children stuff in it. And I also got some Flawless Blades. I got Fulgrim.
Very nice.
Oh, hello, Kitty. I got Fulgrim. And I've been putting Fulgrim together. Started him. He's not quite put together yet because you've got to put him together in stages.
Yeah.
But wow, what a kit. I mean, I've put together... the only Demon Primarch I haven't got now is Angron. I've got to get Angron.
Yes, you do.
I do need to get Angron to just complete the set. Mm-hmm. And of all of them I've put together thus far, Fulgrim's the most fun. He's the most fun kid. He's very like... I don't know. It's just he's not as complex as the others. He is complex in his own peculiar way, but he's also intuitive. You know, you don't really need the instructions to figure out how he goes together, which is really nice. And he's just not as fiddly. I mean, I love the model of Mortarion, love it to bits, but he's a bastard to put together.
Right, okay.
There are bits you've got to just hold until they fucking stick, because they're like the chains with the Nurgling cherubs on them. You've just got to hold them till they stick, basically, or support them somehow until they fucking stick, because otherwise they're just suspended in the air. You know, Fulgrim doesn't have anything like that. Fulgrim is when you put something on him, it just sticks into place, and that's it. You can leave it, which is really lovely. You know, yeah, right. And there's also just my powerful bias, which is I love Fulgrim and I love Slaaneshi imagery, and that model is amazing. Fulgrim is amazing. There's little subtle things they've done with him. So, like, the snake body isn't really a snake body anymore, like it is in the Horus Heresy version. It's more like an eel or like a sea creature.
Okay.
Which has this almost like mermaid or Rusalka quality to it, or a siren, you know? Which fits. Obviously, it fits with the Slaaneshi theme.
Absolutely.
There are just little tiny details on him that are fantastic. So, you know, the on his breastplate, he's got the it's like the seal of the Emperor. It's the wing with the orb in the claw, and that is uncorrupted because that was gifted to him by the Emperor. So that hasn't been touched by the warp. It's exactly as it was when he was an Imperial.
That's smart. I like that.
Isn't that really cool, right? Isn't that really, really cool? Just a lovely, clever little detail. He's got like not only does he have, it's not the layer blade, the blade that corrupted him, because Lucius carries that, but he's got like his demon, because the swords are extensions of him, obviously, because he's a demon, right? They manifest as whatever he wants. One of them is manifested as the layer blade, which is really cool. And the other one is Fireblade that Ferrus Manus made for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't it brilliant? I mean, there's just little things in the model, tiny little details that are amazing, quite frankly. He is, of them all, he's my favorite thus. I mean, he was always probably going to be, let's be honest. I just have that Slaaneshi bias, but yeah, he's a beaut. He's an absolute beaut. Been putting him together, been kit bashing Flawless Blades. So I've made them from any bits I can get my hands on. I've got the Flawless Blade box with 3 of them in, but I've been putting them together from the Possessed, from the Veterans of the Long War box, bits and pieces of Drakari, the Slythe, the alien snake thing.
Yes.
I used the body of that, like the abdomen, the snake body for one of them. I put like the Meliusai snake body on another one. So it's all really been Emperor's Children, to be honest. Although I have the codices for all of them, and we'll get into it. But having read through the Thousand Suns one, that's a project I'll be picking back up very soon, because that's a lovely. All of these codices are brilliant, by the way.
We'll get there, George. We'll get there.
Yeah. So that's basically. I mean, I've also picked up again, Adam, the Fabius Bile book.
Oh yes, they are.
Reading through the Fabius Bile books again, because they're wonderful. I mean, about halfway through the first one at the moment. They've just got to that, where they go on that little pilgrimage to the market world that's in the Eye of Terror. Love it. They've just made it to there, and Oleander is guiding them round. Utterly brilliant. The way Fabius talks to the demon that manifests on the bridge of the Vesalius, where it's a fucking keeper of secrets. It could kill you by looking at you, Fabius, and yet because he's like no, because he doesn't believe in it.
Against its existence, it can't.
It can't hurt him because he just doesn't. He doesn't allow it any purchase on his psyche at all. It's utterly, and the way he shoots it with that, the extract of a null. So it is like, of all the set that, Slaaneshi demons love all sensation. Obviously, pain doesn't mean anything to them, but that does. That does, because that's antithetical to them, right? That will actually, if anything would kill a demon, like permanently, but not even banish them, just kill them, that would.
Just cutting them off from all of the sources of power. That's it. They wither and die.
From the warp itself,
I love those books.
Amazing. They're brilliant. Like, the little characters are great. I love Sakara, the word bearer. He's the word bearer who was sent to kill him. So he implanted loads of organic bombs throughout his genetics. So if he even steps out of line, he's going to just melt.
Did you read the...
I did, That was fun. What I loved about that was that Fabius comes across as the more reasonable of the two. Because, Call is doing everything Fabius is trying to do. Their goals, as Fabius points out to him, their goals overlap.
Well,
so
the Venn diagram of their goals is a circle. So
it's a circle, isn't it? The only difference is the aesthetics, right? The only difference is the aesthetic. The funny thing is, don't get me wrong, Fabius is a bastard. He's an out-and-out bastard. All of them are, right? There's no good guys here. It's 40k, right? There's no good guys here. But if Fabius, if Robert Gilliman would sit down with Fabius, they could probably come up with a fairly decent solution for things like chaos and the future of humanity and whatnot. If you included Araman in the conversation, there might be a way forward for 40k. There might be a way forward for humanity in the 40k universe, but
that's never going to happen. Well, it's the concept of 40k, isn't it? That no matter what anyone has the ability to do, it'll never happen because stagnation is the most powerful force of all.
That's right, and they're also married to their ideologies. Like Robert would never countenance sitting down with one of the so-called traitors, right? This, despite the fact that certainly in the books, Araman and Fabius are some of the only two characters in the setting who are not married to the stagnation of the setting. You could see how, if they could come up with some solution for going forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Certainly Fabius. I mean, Fabius has got it, right? He's got the idea in mind. He knows exactly what he needs to do and what he wants to do.
And the only thing stopping him is reality and all the people involved.
It's the creatures he considers to be idiots, which includes his father, by the way. It includes all of the fallen Primarchs, all of the Chaos Space Marines. he's looking so far forward that it's like another universe, right? It's like it's a rebirth of humanity that he's looking forward to. And he doesn't even, what I like about Fabius, like Iron Man actually, he doesn't even intend to live to see it.
No.
So, yes, he is. I mean, he's an arrogant son of a bitch. He is, because he believes he's the only one who can do this stuff. But at the same time, he's not so arrogant. He's not arrogant in the manner of, say, like some of the warrior lords of the Chaos Space Marines who want to be, the lords, the tyrants of their own empire. That's not what he wants.
No. He wants to create a future. That's the future itself is. It's not sustainable because that's not how things work, unfortunately. And what he wants to do is create a foundation for the future to then bounce forward from, and then they have to deal with it themselves.
It's interesting, isn't it? Fabius, it's like he's read the fluff. You know what I mean? It's like he's one of the few characters in the setting who is stepping back from the setting and looking at it in really stark, realistic terms and saying, none of these projects are ever going to work. The Imperium is fucked. The Chaos Space Marines are fucked. The old alien empires are all fucked. They're all going to destroy one another eventually, or chaos is going to sweep in, consume the universe, and burn itself out, or the Tyranids are going to come and consume everything, and then everything's going to stagnate, and that's it. He's trying to provide a solution to all of that.
Yeah. It's the difference between having a plan going forward and trying to maintain the status quo. And that's what a lot of the big players of 40k are trying to do. They're trying to maintain the status quo in order to get another day of calm and peace.
Yeah.
Even the Eldar.
But calm and peace in the 40k universe.
Even the Eldar do it. Yeah, they're on the road to Randadandra. I always call it Randadandra. That's not what it's called.
Randadandra. The Ranadandra,
Not Randadandra.
Randabanga, wasn't that a boss in Mega Man X?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. But you're right. Like the Eldari have kind of like, most factions of them seem to have almost like accepted their fate. They know they're a dying people and they're just sort of like going along with it. They're doing their best to survive until that final day, that final battle. But they fully believe it's going to happen, that big war, the Ranadandra between the material universe and chaos. And it's going to end everything, right? That's in there. It's in their prophecies, isn't it? It's in their mythic cycles, So the only ones who survive are the Dark Eldar, the Drukari, because they're in the webway.
Yes. But even then, they won't survive very long because there's orcs in the webway now.
Yeah, that's true. And there are other things in the webway as well.
I think the orcs are the biggest problem. The other things you can do, warts and things to try and keep them out. The orcs are just going to keep on.
Yeah. They're just going to keep going. They've also got, they've also got Vulcan knocking around in there by all accounts. Is it Vulcan or is it Yagati? It's Yagati, isn't it?
Yes.
It's Yagati who's knocking about in Comora. You know how there's this like, they never say it's Yagati Khan, but there's this story of the ultimate gladiator in Comora who they only unleash at certain times. And he is this gigantic armored warrior who slays everything that comes near him. It's Yagati, isn't it?
Or it's
It's the Khan. I think, I'm always confused by this. I know what happened to Vulcan. I know what happened to the Khan. What happened to Dawn? At the end, after the heresy.
Dawn.
I know about the Iron Cage, where almost all of the Imperial Fist got slaughtered, but he survived that.
He did.
There was something else, wasn't there? He got his hand cut off in something or other.
Yeah, that is a damn good question.
I can't remember what happened to Dawn. I know that Russ went into the warp and is on his sort of like pilgrimage thing.
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins his way into the warp.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you know what, guys? He is so definitely the next Primarch
100%.
coming. Do you know how we know? Like how we absolutely know? the Space Wolf Codex supplement that was released like recently, there are rules in it. There are stratagems that pertain to monsters, but there's no monsters in the Codex.
Oh.
All of the Primarchs are classed as monsters.
Yep.
They all have the monster keyword.
That's clever.
So he is so the next Primarch coming back this year, I would imagine. In fact, I would hazard a guess. You know how they did Fulgrim Christmas. They teased Fulgrim at Christmas. They're going to do the same with Russ.
It'll be next year because that will be the next edition of 40k.
Yeah, 11th. Whoa.
Slow down, because honestly, this is...
Yeah.
It's getting to the point now where, like, hang on, didn't 10th just come out? No, 10th has been out a few years. Okay.
No. It's been out for a few years. Leviathan is a few years old now.
Right, so apparently Dawn was killed by Curse.
Was it? Really? I didn't know he died.
The chapter's chief librarian found the Primarch's body on the bridge in a chilling reprise of Dawn's discovery of the wounded Emperor, and bore him away before the stricken flagship escaped back into the infernal depths of the Eye of Terror. That is from...
so he could... there's room there. Isn't there this wiggle room? He could be kind of alive, I suppose.
The skeletal hand was...
They could just rewrite it. GW have rewritten stuff.
Yeah, just rewrite it. Yeah, absolutely. Of course they have. It's always been rewritten. Yeah. If they want to rewrite it, you know?
First demigod, clad in rough gold, inclined his white hair head in majestic acknowledgement. A king, greeting an equal. I am Rogel Dawn, he said. The Night Haunter said nothing. In his mind's eye... you like my Rogel Dawn voice?
No. I'm Rugel Dawn. He died.
Yeah, dead.
Instant dead.
So the giant die dragged down by 100 murders in a dark tunnel, their knives and swords wet with warriors' blood. That's Prince of Crows from 2012.
Oh, that's a good book, actually, Prince of Crows. Oh, I've read that. I just must not have picked it up. You know, I must not have consciously absorbed that. Interesting.
Nearly a 15-year-old book.
Yeah. So, yeah, it may not be, considered to be canon as such. Who knows, right?
See that. How is 2012?
Are you saying Outcast of the Dead is not considered canon anymore? Or Battle for the Abyss? Is that not canon?
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
What about Nemesis? Is Nemesis canon still?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Nobody would mourn were it not, you know?
Andy, what have you been working on, you rancid sexual being?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I'm glad you didn't. I can't remember what the last time we did a podcast was, but I've pumped out some more Tomb King stuff. So I've got a Tomb Scorpion that's done, 3 chariots that are done, the light cavalry, which aren't very good, are done. The 30 zombies that I'm doing for my vampire counts are done.
Oh my god, 30!
Yeah. I put pictures up a while ago, so all of those ones.
Well done. Bloody hell.
Yeah, there was a combination of like 3D printed stuff and then Fireforge stuff, so they're quite fun to do.
So your vampire count zombies is it like primarily zombies, like blocks of zombies? Yeah.
It's one singular block at the moment.
Is it a big block? Yeah.
Yeah, cool. They recommend running like zombies.
He's dead, big dead.
They recommend like a zombie just be one big blob, a big stepping stone.
Ever has it been? Yeah, that's one of the few things that hasn't changed in the undead army. Zombies, they're a big block of bodies and wounds, you know?
Technically, apparently, they're meant to be better in versus skeletons for like their points because they do the same thing. Because skeletons aren't very good, so you may as well just have zombies.
Just have zombies, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Right. Why not?
I've done one necromancer, one of the old ones, which I dubbed Abaddon the Necromancer because he has the top knot. It's that one.
Oh, I know exactly the one you mean. The one that's holding like the sword to one side and the staff to the other.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Abaddon the Necromancer.
Yes.
Yeah, he's part of a set of 3. I've got the one with the big beard who has the staff in one hand with the skull on it, and then the sword. I'm in the process of doing him. And then I don't have the one holding the skull though.
Those are ancient. Those are from like the original Warhammer Armies Undead release.
I think
Those
they're
guys
a little. Are they? I thought they were a little later than that.
No. They actually came out with that release.
Ooh, they didn't. They're Ravening Hordes. No, they're.
Are you sure? I don't think they are, Adam. Those were metal originally. They were in the.
Sorry, no. By Ravening Hordes, I mean Third Ed.
Oh right, okay. Also, right.
They were towards the end of Third Ed, just before Fourth came out.
I did right.
Ravening Hordes got used again in the mid 2000s. I forget every single time. Ravening Hordes is
right.
Reach it from here. The original name for what was the Warhammer Armies book.
Oh right, because I do remember, I remember seeing them in those, the backs of White Dwarf with the catalogs.
Oh yeah.
Many moons ago.
I mean, if we start discussing just the catalogue pages of White Dwarf, it will be interesting to nobody except to people over the age of 40.
That must be we can do it as a Patreon episode.
It would be the longest
important
show
people
we've ever done, because it would just be literally, look at this from 219. Oh man, look at that.
Jesus.
Look at this picture of the arcane architecture from 127.
There's the topic. You should note this down, Gruff, for a future episode. Old cardboard scenery.
Yeah. Oh my God,
we could do an episode on all of the old cardboard scenery.
Made out of cornflake
100% behind that.
No, I mean like like the orc bases. Those ones, the orc little village you could buy.
Do you remember
the Space Marine spaceport or whatever?
They used to do them in issues of White Dwarf sometimes. They were
some of them.
Oh my! I remember the Elder Shrine. They did.
You think that would be a good episode, Gruff?
100% yes.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I will get really excited. I have my Elder Shrine and Gorkamorka Tower and Fantasy Townhouse.
I wonder if you can 3D print some of them. Someone must have made the Gorkamorka Tower.
Surely.
But yeah, I know. The problem with the cardboard, which I'm sure everybody had, was they popped apart.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
They didn't want to stay together.
No. Super glue.
And of course, it's cardboard. So, over time, it just rots anyway, I'll bet there are. I am trying to remember the issue of White Dwarf that the shrine came in.
217, I want to say.
Nerd.
I cannot for the life of me remember. I just remember putting it together.
Yeah, no.
Thinking.
Is it? What else have you been up to, Andy?
I got finished the Metal Heinrich Kemmler and the Krell which Big D gave me, so I got those two finished as well.
Yeah.
Heinrich Kemmler is a great model. He's fantastic. He's really solid and he's girthy as well.
Yeah.
That boy don't move.
It was always a really strong model, that one. It survived for such a long time as well.
Yeah, they only did the one. That's the only way to get him. If you want a Heinrich Kemmler, that's it.
That's Heinrich, yeah, that is Heinrich. Although I do wish they'd redo him for AOS or something.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I'd like to see him come back in AOS. Well, why not? I mean, if what I love about the way they've introduced some of the older characters like Zigfold, it kind of opens the door. You can do whatever you like. You can bring back whoever you want from the old world if you want.
Of course you can.
Go for it.
Absolutely no reason why you shouldn't.
Other stuff I've done. Oh, 212.
212, wow.
I've got my mortuary priest, if I could say mortuary priest from Warhammer World. When we went down there, I've got him finished pretty much.
Oh wow!
I got him finished off today. He probably just needs his shin guards tidied up, but that's about it. And I also finished the corpse card today. There's a lot to paint on it, though. There was a shocking amount. I was surprised how much there was to do on it as I was putting it all together. Yeah, I kept the pile of corpses separate from the cart, which did make it a little bit tricky to finagle in between the pointy wooden bits.
Yeah.
I also switched out the 4 zombies on the front of them for 2 Fireforge Living Dead Knights, because the Living Dead Knights, the Fireforge stuff is good, but their horses are way too small compared to old school Warhammer stuff. Like, I think the biggest horses from the old world are the skeleton horses.
Right, which is ironic because they should be the smallest technically, shouldn't they? They've got
they're bigger than Bretonian horses.
They were really big horses.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. I can't really use the Fireforge ones because the riders look really good, but the actual horses are too small. And I thought, they can pull a cart, so I just drilled some holes in 2 of them, and they work well enough, and it makes the cart a little bit different, I suppose.
Shit.
Super.
I wasn't 100% sure on the colors they used for all of them, but it's probably fine.
I just love the morbidity of that model. I think it's a horrible idea. Although it is funny as well because you can do the bring out your dead thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's happy when you get to bring out your dead.
So I just wanted to have a look at what the biggest prehistoric horse was, just so you could say that is the skeleton of a Deferee or something like that.
Oh, there's some pretty big horses, if I remember right.
No, the horses are bigger now than they were in prehistoric times.
Oh.
Breeding, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, a medium-sized horse in medieval times was 7 feet long and about 4.5 feet high at the shoulder.
Are you sure they just weren't really far away?
Historic horse is dead. This prehistoric horse is really far away.
I think that's everything I've painted and done Warhammer-wise recently since the last show. So it's a decent amount, I suppose.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, and me.
Because literally, I've got some books to talk about. As far as I've got. Although saying that, I did get this.
Oh, what was that? What? So Gross
came around, and then his chair seemed to hit the pictures, and then everything went.
So suddenly this is becoming a Fluffenhammer ARG. Something awful has happened to Gruff.
This if someone comes in, what the fuck's going on in here? I've made a mess. The sounds of a child mocking his father.
This is brilliant. This is fantastic. Is this what you came for, guys?
Yeah.
So
what I was going to say was I have been working on the next of my deodorant cap dioramas.
Excellent.
The free skeleton from this month's free. I've used...
Yeah, you loved him, didn't you?
I putting that thing together like you wouldn't believe.
Really? Is it that bad a kid?
Honestly, when I say that Andy has described how bad these skeletons are, I'm not kidding. They are so much worse than Andy's been saying.
It's a shame because skeletons have always been like a core kit for the fantasy game.
They made them too thin. That's the problem. They're too thin now. They made them realistic. They're too thin.
Oh no.
The best skeletons the GW are making are the Tomb King ones from
the old
500 years ago. It's not even like the last old ones, but the old ones before them.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what edition they are, but
I was going to say, is this like that big regiment box of skeletons you're talking about from the mid 2000s? I know early 2000s.
Yes.
Yeah, is it that one that was ubiquitous where everyone bought it because you could put skeletons on your tanks and on your bases and whatnot?
I remember you go back further than that, the Skeleton Horde box set, which is still in my mind the best box set Games Workshop ever made because you could do anything with it, and people were buying that and using it as automation for tanks. You were making scenery out of it. You were making buildings out of it. The world was your oyster when it came to that incredible box set. And then the next one they remove the ball joints. So it's just
Yeah, god damn it. I mean, the skeletons have always been a bit ubiquitous in that regard, haven't they? Like, people who are not undead players buy them for ornamentation, you know, for I mean, if you're a World Eaters player, fuck's sake, of course you're going to buy the skeletons. You want the skulls, don't you?
Yeah. That's a good point. You definitely can't do that now with the Age of Sigmar ones, because they're all caked in armor. Very obviously old armor as well.
Yeah, that is a real shame, actually. So people are either going to be going elsewhere for their skeletons, you know, or they're going to be like 3D printing them or something.
I think, yeah. If I was going to do any more skeletons, I would probably go somewhere else for them, because I'm not a fan. Really not a fan.
That is a shame. That is a shame, because they're core, aren't they? I mean, they're you need them for your undead armies.
Well, the one Gruff has is a grave guard, technically, right?
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's hard to know because they look exactly the same as
they
the other
look the
ones.
same, don't they? They look more or less the same.
Which is what my complaint was when they first showed them.
Yeah.
They look cool now. They look the same as the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, well. Right.
Each month, and then start making a weird diorama out of it.
Yeah. Did you get a coin?
I do have this month's coin. I didn't get last month. I didn't get the Emperor's Children one last month.
Oh, no. Slanesh is displeased.
Were they sold out of them?
To get the chance to go in last month.
Okay, fair enough.
Didn't get the chance to go in and didn't spend any money.
Well, it's not all bad, I suppose. You got to save cash.
I was frankly really disappointed when, I got all the bits of the big Chaos coin, the big Chaos emblem from the and when I put them together, the warp didn't open or anything. It was not. So which is, that is even more amazing because I have not a microwave, so it's like a double miracle,
You close the microwave door.
Yeah, and you don't want a microwave lasagna. You want like a real one. Microwave lasagna is terrible.
They are shite.
That's awful. It's like, conjured up a microwave and give me below average meal.
Yeah.
I'll just eat the cardboard instead.
I don't think it'd fit Daffodil. I could give it a go. You'd have to be violent with it. He says, have you tried using the medallion in a vending machine? You'd need a hammer. You'd need something really big to wedge that slot open, I'm telling you.
The real Warhammers with the friends we made along the way, guys. But yeah, myself, I haven't really been doing much, mostly because time has not allowed, and I haven't really bought anything new for the last couple of months, which is very depressing. I could probably do with finishing my Skaven, which needs to happen.
Which ones?
The Storm Vermin, all done. I just need to get the Storm Vermin finished. Once, when I get the chance and the spare funds, I need to buy some Storm Fiends. Want 2 units of Storm Fiends, another Warp Lightning Cannon, and then Visik Scour, and that's my Skaven army.
Awesome. It's going to look so good. I mean, that range, it's amazing. And also, I love the fact they've not bothered to nerf them. They're like rampaging across all of AOS, and no, they've not bothered to nerf them at all.
I played my mate Ben a couple of times. Who discovers it? Yep.
Is this Stormcast Ben?
Well, he's been running a Stormcast Sylvaneth Seraphon alliance. He's not
order.
I keep calling it Triple S. But the poor guy, he deployed his the tree men. What are they called?
The Dryads. The
big tree guy. I keep wanting to say Ent. It's not an Ent. Tree Lord. There we go. Yeah.
It's not an Ent, no. Although it kind of is.
So he deploys all them, but then realized after deployment that he needed to get some Awakened Wildwood because he doesn't have any. Which was all well and good when my Skaven popped up underneath him and just started setting fire to all of his trees.
Yeah.
I felt really bad because his Sylvaneth lasted 1 turn.
Yes, they are. But I mean, I haven't played against them myself, but I've seen it happen. They are a
It's
freaking
the point
nightmare.
now where
It has it. I don't think it. I mean, it has, and if it has, it's been a very low key one.
The General's Handbook's out now, so the
very
FAQ is
low
out with
key.
it, but there's nothing in there that's a major change.
No, certainly not for the Skaven.
That's really about it. The Skaven are absolutely. So Cassius 335 says, I said end. And then Gruffy went, not an end. That was odd. The Skaven in AOS are absolutely unreal. I feel bad for some of the dirty tricks I've been able to pull.
Yeah, they're naughty, aren't they? They've got like all the stuff. They've really just designed them as the army for AOS 4th, haven't they?
The way that the rule set works, it is very much in the favor of the Skaven, and everything that they've done with the Skaven just umps what they can do right the way out. And when you're playing a pure clan Skiri army like I am, so it's all technological devastation you can pull out is up. Like,
probably nastiest of the clans in the current game system.
What's her name? With the big wings, she's on like floating up on the pillar. Stormcast character.
Yeah, I don't know her name, but I know the one you mean. The sort of angelic
Celestine, basically.
The equivalent, basically.
Removed her off the board in turn 1.
Yeah.
It was just, honestly, you're sitting there going, this, what?
I see how it is, bruh. You saw a powerful woman and you were like, I gotta take it down a peg.
Yeah.
Misogyny, here it comes in the form of rats.
No, that's not what I saw at all. What I saw was something that was going to start taking objectives very quickly because she had wings.
Yeah, because you fly, right?
In the best, in the best quote that you can ever do, it just went, well, I just started blasting.
Yeah.
You should totally make a Skaven Danny DeVito. That would.
There is one in.
Yeah.
But like a rather large,
really fat.
He's
I want him as a character just leading a clan rat unit. I just think it'd be really cool just having this really fat Skaven.
I mean, like, sincerely, there are certain clan Skiri builds with like all the various warp cannons and whatnot where you can just sort of like, right, I'm deleting that this turn, I'm deleting that this turn, I'm deleting that.
You start adding things like the gnaw holes into it, and the ability to skitter leap and the warp grinder. You can piggyback events at the start of a turn, which means that you are dropping a warp fire thrower team behind a unit before it had the chance to move.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that's mental. That is mental.
They're stopping it, 100%, but nobody expects it to arrive just start burning through. I mean, every time I've tried it, I've only managed to make it succeed once, to be fair. But when
you do it, right? When you do it.
They just...
From what I can, from what I can see, fourth ed, the armies that can move, that can redeploy really fast, have got like uppy downy tricks like the Skaven do. They are the ones that are at a massive advantage.
When you've got the Doomwheel and Doomflayers in a Skaven army, and you have the ability to do the more warp power tactic, where it ups the amount of damage you're going to do, but also ups the risk of something going horribly wrong. And then you're using something like your Grey Seer to reduce the risk. You can do absolutely insane piggyback moments, where Skitter leaps the Doom Wheel and then the Doom Wheel manages to roll 20 inches and then just careens. Because the Doom Wheel doesn't just move. You've got to roll for its movement. Yeah.
It hurts things. Yeah. It hurts things. It moves over, doesn't it?
Just then run through the main flank of your enemies. Force. I was in it. Gonna roll for both wounds. It's shit. Okay.
It's kind of crazy. And they've even got now the Skaven have got big tough units as well. They've got things like the Doom Lords, the Vermin Lords.
If you want to get a Doom, if you want to get a Vermin Lord that's going to get into the nitty gritty of a battle, you've got it. The Vermin Lords, unless you're taking the Warp Seer, I think it is, you've got a glass cannon because they're not as tough as the other greater demons. They're not, if they go up against like a Keeper of Secrets or something, they're probably going to lose. But even so, right, they're still nasty pieces of work. They've got great damage output, most of them. Especially when you can skittle leap and you get into combat, do some damage, and then skittle leap back out again. That's horrible,
mad.
But
Is what it is.
If anything gets into hand-to-hand combat with them, like anything in the Skaven army, they're dead. Yeah.
It melts, doesn't it? It melts. One of the hard counters for the Skaven are things like the Hedonites, because they move so quickly, and if they get into combat, they're going to just massacre them.
Iron Jaws,
the Iron Jaws,
absolutely throttle them. The Boar Riders, once they get into combat, the Gore-Grunters, they get into combat, that's it. You've lost. You've got to get the Gore-Grunters off the table before you can carry on. That's going to be your main objective. And that...
The Jugger Riding guys from the Blades of Khorne, complete nightmare. Complete nightmare for these Skaven.
Funnily enough, if the Cities of Sigmar get into hand-to-hand combat, it's 50-50. Because you have that ability to get the Skaven
because they're
in at the end of the turn. You can just keep replenishing the unit and...
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? They kind of remind me sometimes the way they play like the Gene Stealer cults in 40k. They've got that feeling about them where you kill the unit, another one pops up in its place and it's full strength, and it's like,
I'm not looking forward to when the Skaven finally get knocked off their perch, because right now they are. It's so good to be on top of the world. They are pretty damn good. I mean, I don't know what the next... Oh, yes, we do. We do know what the next book is. The next book is The Blades of Khorne, isn't it? It is. AOS, is that right? We had a preview for it. We definitely had a preview for it. So that's another round of codices for me to buy. Of battle tomes for me to buy. For all the Chaos ones. Yay! I'm not complaining. It's all good fun, The Horus Heresy ones and the Necromunda Chaos book arrives. Everything's pointed at you this summer. It's very pointed, yeah. Everything has been pointed at me this summer. It's been crazy. To be honest with you. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of having that now, very briefly, before it hits again. But no, it's been great. I'll be honest. It's been so exciting. It's been. I've never seen them do anything like this before, where they've not only released all of these themed codices together, they've clearly written them in conjunction with one another. Yeah. That's very, very clear and they're so heavily themed, these books. That's what I love about them. The way they play is so freaking interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it. The Emperor's Children, I've been keeping tabs on how the Emperor's Children are doing. And when the book first hit, people were looking at it and going, how do you work with this? Because, you look at it unit for unit with other armies, and they're always punching up. They don't have the same killing power as a lot of the other Chaos books. You compare them unit to unit with, the World Eaters, for example. And the World Eaters just, it looks like they massacre them on paper. It looks like they just destroy them on paper. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. The Emperor's Children are slowly but surely taking over the competitive scene of 40k. They've been riding high through almost all of the tournaments that have happened since the book's release. They've been doing very, very, very consistently well. And it's because the army is just so... It's one of the
best designed armies in 40k.
What works?
It's really beautiful.
Design aesthetic that.
What really works with it, it plays unlike anything else. It has a very clear idea. This is what really works for it. It has a very clear identity. They had a very clear idea of how they wanted them to work on the battlefield, and that is, you don't fight with them. You don't go to try and kill everything.
Okay.
They don't work like that. They're so quick. They're so fast. They're so... The word comes up when you look at analyses of the Emperor's Children is slippery. They're slippery. You can't pin them down. Because of the Thrill Seekers army rule, which allows them to... Basically, what that allows them to do is they can... In 40k, you can make an advance move, basically. So you can use your normal move. Then, with most armies, you can make an advance move rather than charging or shooting in the same turn. So you give up the option to charge or shoot when you advance, yeah? The Emperor's Children can advance and then charge or shoot. They can also fall back and charge or shoot. The caveat, because that would be, if it was just that, they would be too powerful. If any army had just that, it would be ridiculous in 40k. It would be overpowered. So the caveat is, you cannot charge or shoot a unit that you've just fallen back from, and you cannot charge or shoot a unit that another Emperor's Children unit has charged or shot. Yeah? So you've got to coordinate your movement. You've got to think of it. You've got to think about the game in macro terms. You've got to think about what your enemy is going to do with his units and set up the charges, the shooting, and stagger the sequence as you're playing. So the Emperor's Children have fast become the tournament player's army of choice, because not only are they very, 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 very good when you play them well, they're fun to play. They're really, really fun, because that Thrill Seekers rule adds an extra element of depth to the game. You've got to think about it in very precise terms. It makes them very Scalpel-like. They're not like, if you're going for like a starter army from these cult codices, or an army where you don't really want to think about tactics too much, then you go for the Death Guard or you go for the World Eaters, because they're just killy as hell. The World Eaters and the Death Guard in particular. The Death Guard Codex, we're waiting for the nerfs for that one, because they're going to come.
The Death Guard Codex is basically, well, we've made castles mobile and they're human-sized.
Yeah, it's a very good codex, the Death Guard. The Death Guard Codex is a very good codex. They could probably do with a few points increases, because some of the units are mental. They've basically made them how they've always supposed to be. You know, the Death Guard have always suffered in previous editions of 40k, where they've never been quite as tough as they should be. You know, in Fluff, they are impossible to kill. You know, they're very, very hard to kill, because, you know, you can do anything to a Plague Marine, it just won't stop. It won't go down. They've always been a bit fragile in that regard. And because they've always been really slow as well, they've never had the toughness to compensate for it properly. Now they do. For the first time ever, they've made basic Plague Marines toughness 6, which is 8. Yeah. So, right, basic Plague Marines are toughness 6, and Terminators in the book are toughness 7.
Ooh.
Yeah. Toughness 7, 3 wound, 4+ invulnerable save, 2+ armor save. They normally only move like 5 or 6 inches, so they're not fast. They're not fast, but they're nasty. They're really killy. In fact, funnily enough, one of the hard counters to the Death Guard is the Emperor's Children, because they're so quick. And if you get charged by something that's nasty, like the Death Shroud, for example, well, you fall back, don't you, and charge something else. That's the thing. The Emperor's Children, if you play them well, they are going to dominate. They're going to dominate because they are so quick. From turn 1, you control the midfield. And you can get to objectives, like from turn 1, you are capturing objectives and you're stickying them as well. So you are making them yours until the enemy can get a unit of equivalent objective secured strength on them, which is, it can be difficult. It can be really difficult. And you can even, there are certain builds of the Emperor's Children that, I kid you not, can get turn 1 charges off like that. The strength of the Emperor's Children is that they can hem in the opponent. They can control the board. They are not hyper-killy. Not all of them anyway. They can get to be hyper-killy when you play them correctly, but they don't have, like, if you compare them to, say, the World Eaters. The World Eaters book is amazing. The World Eaters book, when it first hit, when people started seeing the rules, they were a bit like, oh, what have they done? Oh, they're not as strong as the Index. No, they're not as strong as the Index. But the thing is, the Index only had one way of playing. There was no nuance at all in the Index. No, you took all the same units. You played it in exactly the same way in every battle that you had. So it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. What they've done with the World Eaters, they've expanded out the way they play. So this ostensibly very niche army with a very established style and ethos of playing, there are multiple different ways of building it. There are multiple different ways of playing it now. You can do different things with it, and that makes it more tactically flexible and just more fun, right? That's what's really surprised me about all of these books. Like, all of the Cult Legions are really extreme, you know, in the way they play and in the ethos of the armies. They've looked at them and they've thought, so how can we diversify them? How can we make them like so that 1,000 Suns army isn't like another 1,000 Suns army? So there are different builds that work and there are different styles of play that work. One of the things I really bloody love, every single one of them has a detachment that's based around vehicles.
What?
It's based around yeah, I know, right? There's a detachment in the Emperor's Children called Rapid Evisceration, and it's the transport detachment. So you load up on rhinos and land raiders, and when your troops, your units get out, when they disembark, they get bonuses. So in the Emperor's Children one, any unit that disembarks from a transport, throughout that turn, they get to re-roll 1s to hit and to wound.
That's
very good, right? Very, isn't it? Isn't it good? And that, not only that, but the rhinos are different in every single one of the codices. They all have bespoke special rules, and they all have bespoke purposes, roles in the army. How cool is that? The World Eaters one has got this fantastic special rule. Their rhinos, if an enemy ends an advance move or a normal move within 9 inches of them, then whoever's in the rhino can get out. They can disembark. It's a brilliant special rule, that is. You can prevent enemy units from charging. You can prevent them from getting onto objectives. And if you're very clever and you stagger it properly, you can set up counter charges, and it's very, very, very cool. And then you combine that with the World Eaters vehicle detachment, which is called the Gortrak Onslaught. And that gives Berserkers special rules when they disembark from rhino transports. When they charge, they get the Lance special rule, which basically means that they hit like a freight train in the turn that they charge out of transports. Isn't it cool?
So,
I mean, it's so cool.
Just the imagery of them flying out of the rhino and just charging straight into enemy blades.
Well, you know what it is? Do you remember this is way back in 3.5, when 3.5 Codex was out, there was this really infamous army with the World Eaters, this army build that they called the World Eaters Rhino Rush.
I do.
Do you remember that? Where you loaded up, the army was almost exclusively Khorne Berserkers and Rhinos. And you just charged the rhinos at the enemy, and then you disembarked your Khorne Berserkers and you charged That's what you did with them. And you used the rhinos to sort of block and to do tank shocks and stuff like that. But mostly what you were doing was just getting the World Eaters up the field and getting them to charge into the enemy. That's what they've reinvented. They've made it so that you can do the old World Eaters Rhino rush again. And also, it's better now. It's a lot better than it used to be because you get bonuses for it, right? You've got a whole detachment built around it.
Really?
How cool! If you read the Codex, I think you'd be like, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. There's another one. There's a cultist detachment in the World Eaters book. There's a cultist detachment, and do you know how it works? So there's 2 cultist units in the World Eaters book. They've got their jackals, which are their standard cultists who are really tough, by the way. Really tough and nasty. And they've also got this other unit, which was originally released in Kill Team, and they're infiltrators.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. They're fragile, but they're infiltrators, so they can take objectives and whatnot. And the way it works, you take loads of cultist units, and then you take monsters. You take demon princes, you take Angron, and you take the Lord of Skulls, the big demon engine. Because if the cultist units are within so many inches of these big, they're called idol units, then they get bonuses. They get bonuses because they act as like foci of worship.
That's very, very cool. Yeah.
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? The Death Guard have got an equivalent. They've got a Poxwalker army detachment. So they've got a Poxwalker detachment, which is essentially it's zombie. It's the zombie apocalypse in 40k. It's just hordes of Poxwalkers. Hordes of zombies.
Actually, bloody genius.
I love it. I love it. The way they've taken what are ostensibly they've always been traditionally very narrow armies, the cult leaders. You play them in a particular way, you build them in a particular way. They've really thought, so how do we diversify these guys? How do we make them a bit more interesting? And how do we make them so that people who are coming to get, people who are playing ostensibly the same army have different play styles and different types of army when they fight together? It's just wonderful. I mean, I am really impressed with the detachments and the special rules, the army-wide special rules for these guys. I don't think they've ever been better. I'll be honest, I don't think they've ever been better. The Thousand Sons. So one of the big problems with the Index Thousand Sons was the special rule, which was the Cabals. In the Index, what happened was you had Cabal points that were generated by the sorcerers that were on the battlefield. And you could spend those Cabal points on your rituals, on the spells, effectively, each turn. Unfortunately, all your enemy had to do was target the sorcerers, and you lost your Cabal points. And also, it was, if you had like lots of units with precision, which you do in the Emperor's Children, by the way, almost everything has got precision in the Emperor's Children, which allows you to target characters and units. You would kill them instantly, and suddenly the Thousand Sons special rule was gone.
And
it was gone.
No
so
anymore.
It forced. Right, no. And it forced the way you built your army. If you were taking a Thousand Sons army, you absolutely had to take a number of sorcerers to make it work, to get your Cabal points, right? They've done away with that completely. They've done away with it completely. And what they've done, which I'm sure you've seen, they've basically they've just brought the psychic phase back for the Thousand Sons. They've just brought. It's brilliant, but it's not as cumbersome as it used to be. It's not like the old psychic phase. It's nowhere near as cumbersome. It happens at the beginning of the shooting phase, and essentially you roll a dice. You roll 2 dice to manifest your each Cabal or each Cabal ritual, and you can only cast each ritual once per turn. There's a couple of special rules and stratagems that allow you to do a couple of them twice. And if each one has a casting value, and you can choose after you've rolled, if it goes off, fine, but you can also choose to supercharge it by rolling a 3rd dice, and then you get extra special rules on the top. But Exactly. But if you roll any double, then your character takes mortal wounds. So it's the psychic phase, right? But they've just brought it back just for the Thousand Suns.
But with a scavenly twist.
Oh. Kind of, yeah. And I'm telling you what, it's so much better. It's so much better than it was in the Index. And it's, for the first time, I mean, one thing I have noticed, because I have been sort of keeping an eye on what's going on in the competitive scene lately. The Thousand Suns are creeping in.
Where are the World Eaters?
They are creeping up and up and up and up and up and up and up. The World Eaters are doing very, very nicely. They're just solid. The World Eaters Codex is just solid. It's very strong. I mean, your basic berserkers, they're nasty as hell. They move 8 inches now every turn. They move 8 inches, which is very nasty. They've got their blood surge, which means basically when they're shot, yeah, I know, right? Oh, it gets worse. Oh, it gets way worse. You can take them in blobs of 20 if you want. Blobs of 20 berserkers. They've got a blood surge special move, which means if they're shot, then you can make a special move in the opponent's shooting phase towards the unit that shot you.
What?
Right? Nasty stuff. Also, it gets worse. You know the Juggerlord, the World Eaters Lord on Juggernaut. You attach him to a unit of berserkers, and he gives them the ability to move 10 inches and to move through terrain.
What?
Yes. Oh, yes. He is evil. It's evil. They are, I don't know which is faster, the World Eaters or the Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
They're both fast in different ways, you know? Like, the World Eaters, it's all aggression. You are trying to get across the battlefield to blat whatever's in the way, just to sweep it away. With the Emperor's Children, you're trying to tie up the enemy and gain objectives, yeah? It's very interesting. They're ostensibly kind of similar, and yet the way they play is almost antipodean, you know? It's like they're balanced out. It's like they operate on opposite poles of the Chaos Star, which is exactly how it should be, right?
They've managed to create these 4 Chaos books in tandem to make sure that there is no treading on each other's toes. They're all working in both unity and friction with each other. Is smart work.
Honestly, it's very clever. I am really impressed with these books. I mean, you know, obviously they're not perfect. There are flaws, but this is about as good as the Cult Legions have ever been in any of the game systems. I am so impressed. And the more, I mean, obviously the Emperor's Children are the new kids on the block. And the more I look at what they've done with them, the more impressed I am. It's a very elegant job. They're very finely honed. They are like, I wouldn't advise them as a beginner army. I really wouldn't, because you need to play them well. You need, like, if you know what you're doing, they will dominate. They will. It's what I've always seen. If you watch the battle reports that are all over YouTube, they either win like so big, and I mean like so big, it's not even a contest, or they lose hard. It's one or the other. There's no middle ground with the Emperor's Children. And I kind of love that. I kind of love how extreme it is. I love how weird it is. And people are just sort of getting to grips with them, you know, both as opponents and as armies to play with. And what I was watching, I was watching a video by a channel called The Art of War, and they specialize in competitive play. And the guy, he goes to loads of tournaments. You know, he really keeps a very close eye on the competitive scene, and he takes his Emperor's Children to every single one.
Okay.
Every single one. And he was, you know, he's got it. He says the reason is they're just so much fun. They are unlike anything else, and they give you this. They're both a challenge, and they do the business when you know what you're doing. Everything has a purpose, everything has a place, everything does what it's supposed to do, but what they do is really specific, and you need to know what you're doing. If you commit them like the World Eaters, you're done. It ain't going to work. It's just not going to work. No, it shouldn't. They shouldn't be the same, right? They shouldn't be the same. And they're not. This is the other thing. The units that are sort of common between the cult legions, they're all different. They've all got their own special rules and that relate to how they work in that army. So the rhinos are all different. They're all different between the armies. The demon princes, the distinctions between the demon princes is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. In the Emperor's Children, the winged demon princes are vile. They're absolutely repulsive. People hate them. People they hate them because they can get up the battlefield super quick. I mean, super quick. And they can get turn one charges off. And the thing is, the Emperor's Children winged demon prince has this evil special rule. If it charges a unit, you roll a dice 6 for every wound that it has remaining, and for every 6+, it does a mortal wound on the charge to whatever it's charging. I know. So you can potentially wipe out half a unit just by charging it. That's before it's done any combat. It hasn't fought yet. Yeah. It's nasty.
It's downside.
Really nasty.
It sounds like there's a lot of upside to these cult books. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've all got their inbuilt weaknesses as well. I mean, that's the other thing. Like the Emperor's Children, if you make a mistake with the Emperor's Children, it's very easy for your opponent to capitalize on. And if you do make a mistake, you're probably done. It's very hard for them to recover from a mistake. The World Eaters, it's largely, they're a very elite army, so very few units in any force. And again, I mean, they shoot okay. They've got, they've got reasonable shooting in the World Eaters, but it's not amazing. Obviously, it's not amazing. So you can sort of blast them off the board if you want, And also, it's the fact that they're so specific. You want to get into melee with the World Eaters. That's what you're always going to want to do. So a canny opponent is going to know how to manipulate that, obviously. Thousand Sons, again, really elite, really small armies. Target the sorcerers, because that's where all the power is. Target the sorcerers. With the Thousand Sons, you've got these incredibly powerful units, like your Scarabocult Terminators, which are arguably some of the best Terminators in the game.
Death Guard, the Blight Shroud Terminators.
They have. They are. I mean, the Blight Shroud are really good. They're really good, but the Scarabocult are something else. They really are amazing. But you'll only ever have one unit of them in any army because they're so expensive. And they're a point sink as well. So if they don't do what they're meant to do, or if they get shot, or if they do get destroyed, you've just lost a significant amount of your army. And they haven't done what they're meant to do. The Death Guard are kind of the same. The Death Guard are really slow. I mean, they're one of the slowest armies in the game, I would say. And they're also very expensive. I would say they need to be a bit more expensive because they are... If they hit your lines, the Death Guard, you're done. You are flat out done. There are very few armies that can stand up against them.
Yeah, so
if they get to your lines.
What you need to do is basically pepper them with shot from as far away as you can, try and stop them from getting to you and doing as much damage from a distance as is physically possible. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, or bait them. You can do that thing. I mean, because they're also very small, they're a bit like Chaos Custodes. They've got that feeling about them, really tiny elite armies. Cool. So tie them up. Distract them, tie them up, get things into the backfield so they've got to deal with that, do stuff like that, which is very easy with fast armies or with chaff armies, Orcs, Drakari, Gene Stealer cults. They have a wicked time with Gene Stealer cults, the Death Guard do. Because you've got loads of units that can pop up all over the damn board and distract them, Emperor's Children, again, honestly, the other army is doing really bloody well at the moment in 40k, the Necrons. The Necron Codex, I'm telling you, someone at Games Workshop, someone in the design team loves their Necrons. They love their Necrons. That book came out of the gates intent swinging hard. And all they've had since the beginning is points decreases and buffs. They are just a brilliant army, the Necrons in 10th. They're a really strong, powerful army. And it's like, okay, fine.
Well, obviously, Andy works at Games Workshop, and that the Necrons are getting everything that they deserve.
And they bloody are, I'm telling you. They've just been solid. One of the earlier codices, and they've just been solid ever since. Like, they are a really good force. I mean, the other thing with these books, the cult books, the background is fantastic. I mean, I'm familiar with most of the Emperor's Children stuff is new, obviously. It's stuff that's only just come about. But they've really gone to town rewriting the background and making it just teasing out little things, making it a bit more toothsome and interesting. So the World Eaters one, what really got me about the World Eaters one is the tragedy of it. They've looked at books like Betrayer, from the Horus Heresy. They've looked at the real tragedy of Angron. The description of Angron is sad.
That's what
it's
Angron
tragic.
needs.
More than anything, it's really sad.
The big rage monster is not something to be punching the sky about, and neither is he something to fully fear, although you should fear him. He should be pitied. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster, but he's like a force of nature more than of all the demon primarchs. He's got no will at all, like none of his own at all. He doesn't even decide where he turns up. Khorne does. Wherever Khorne flings him, that's where he turns up. That's where he manifests, and he just goes nuts. Because he's in agony all the time. That's the other thing the book points out. That how the butcher's nails are still in him, in his demon form. And now they're like this warp-infused demonic version of the butcher's nails. He's in agony all the time, Angron. His existence is agony. And he's immortal. He will never escape. He will never, ever, ever escape. And he can't do anything of his own will because he's hardly got any. He's like a storm almost. He's like an elemental thing of fury. He can't command on the World Eaters. He can't command armies. Armies just form behind him. They follow in his wake. And that's what happens. Yeah. He's very sad. There's something very, very tragic about Angron because, like, of all the fallen Primarchs, it is so not his fault.
No.
It is so not his fault. He did not ask to fall on Luceria, right? What would have happened if Angron had fallen on Ultramar?
Well, yeah, Guilliman would have been a very different character.
Or Tiska.
Yeah.
Right. And so would Angron, right? So would Angron, presumably.
Angron getting an actual life.
What if he'd landed?
Would be
right.
A different person.
A completely different guy. Yeah, completely different guy. Fulgrim, they've obviously this is the first time that Fulgrim's had any really expanded background, to be honest, because his basic background has always been there, and you've got the stuff in the Horus Heresy books, but this is the first time that we've learned what he's like in the 41st millennium after 10,000 years of demonhood. And again, this is a real example of the cleverness of the writing. They've made him and Angron complete opposite poles of one another. So Angron, he is like the death of all ego. He's got none left. There's nothing left of him on a personal level. He's got no will. He's got no sense of who he is anymore. Fulgrim is nothing but ego. He's complete, total ego. He's so consumed by himself. And he does whatever the hell he likes. He's the only demon Primarch who's having a ball. Loving what he's doing, loving what he is, doesn't give a toss about anyone or anything, least of all his Legion. Doesn't care about them anymore because, why would he? In his mind, he is a demigod. He is a demigod of perfection and beauty and wonder. And those he manifests amongst should be grateful and falling to their knees because he is beauty made manifest and he's perfection made manifest, you know? They exist to be his playthings. He will happily, if the whim takes him, he'll just send entire droves of his sons to die on the teeth of the enemy's guns because he finds it funny. He finds it amusing, you know? That's who he is now. That's who Fulgrim is. He's like narcissism made into like elevated to the level of an angel, like an angel of narcissism. Yeah. That's what he is. And it's like, ooh, there's a real horror to that. But also, he is one of the happiest creatures in 40K. You know? He loves what he is. He believes himself to be, like, at the end of his road. He has become everything he ever wanted. So he's like, brilliant, great. I can do whatever I want. Everything's a playground. The whole universe, and not just this reality either, not just the 40K reality. The book points out that he doesn't spend enormous amounts of time in the material universe. Sometimes he's in Slaanesh's realm, you know, doing whatever he likes there. Sometimes he's in other realities that Slaanesh has conquered, doing whatever he wants there, seeking out new experiences and whatnot. He does what he likes. And I kind of love that.
What are the other realities that Slaanesh has conquered? Because that conjures up all sorts of questions.
Exactly. Right. What other realities? I mean, that's very interesting, right? As a concept. Are there... I mean, it makes sense, because we know the Chaos Gods do operate in other realities, because we've got the mortal realms, right? So, what are these other realities that Fulgrim's been slithering around in?
I demand...
And what's he been up to?
In Blood Bowl.
Oh my God! Yeah.
No. I just want to be in Blood Bowl.
Or indeed in AOS.
Weirdest place for him just to arrive in, and he would be the happiest in Blood Bowl because he just the.
Oh, Daffith says Fulgrim shows up in the mortal realms to break Slaanesh out of his prison.
That's pretty.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That'd be ace, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, Daffy's got it right. Fulgrim struck me in his current characterization as the Primarch who falls the most willingly with his eyes open. Yes, that's absolutely true. That's the other thing, right? All of the others are coerced into it. They don't have any choice. I mean, Angron doesn't even know what the fuck is happening to him. Lorgar does it to him. You know, Lorgar opens the warp rift around him and turns him into the demon prince of blood, you know? Mortarion, he does it in despair and agony and madness because the destroyer plague is just ravaging his entire legion and his own body. Magnus doesn't have a choice. It's either that or let the space puppies murder his entire legion. The others haven't got a choice in the matter, and they're also not terribly happy in their positions. They're not right. Exactly that. They may have come to sort of accept it after 10,000 years, but that doesn't mean they like it. But Fulgrim engineers his own apotheosis in the books. He brings it about himself, you know, and he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what Slaanesh is. He knows what it means to become what he becomes, and he does it willingly. So I suppose it makes sense that he's the most self-composed of the traitor Primarchs, the demon Primarchs.
Because
I suppose you're right, because he's kind of the same as he, you know, apart from physically, he's kind of the same as he was when he was mortal,
because
right?
He's wanted it, because he's, as you say, engineered it. He's created the path for it to happen. He's the one who is still mostly him, whilst everybody else has had a massive character shift.
You're right,
like a personality shift, because of the nature of the trauma that they've had to go through in order to become what they are now.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, and we all know Magnus. I mean, obviously, Magnus is like, on levels of tragedy, he's near the top, isn't he? You know, alongside Angron, he's right near. I mean, that's a video I'm going to do for the Fluffenhammer, by the way, guys. I was thinking of doing like a tier list of the what I consider to be the most tragic of the Primarchs, you know, from least to most. Fulgrim, my favorite, would be right at the bottom, because he's What tragedy? He's happy. He loves what he's very, 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 very pleased, you know. So for him personally, it's not a tragedy at all.
Very, very happy.
The universe, reality is a playground insofar as Fulgrim is concerned.
Yeah, before he came back, I would have said
Gilliman's pretty tragic. I would say
Gilliman now, the angry, rage-filled, impotent godhead.
Yeah,
It's
in the 41st millennium, he's pretty tragic. I mean, he's lived to see the death of everything he was born to create and the corruption of it, and now he's trying to hold together an imperium he doesn't even believe in anymore. So, yeah, it's I think he's pretty. I like tragic Bobby G. I think it gives him a lot more flavor and depth and intrigue.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I would say so. I like him a heck of a lot. I mean, in terms of like the way, I love the way they kind of play in the game as well. The demon Primarchs now they're all different. Again, they all do different things. So Fulgrim doesn't give a shit about his army. Doesn't care. So all of his special rules are focused on him. He doesn't have any auras or anything. It's all on him and making him more powerful. The others, he doesn't give a toss. The ones who actually genuinely love their legions, Magnus and Mortarion, give out buffs. They give out buffs to the rest of their army. It's kind of cool. You know, it's kind of clever. Angron is all about, again, it's not because he does it, he just can't. He can't. He's all focused on what he does to the enemy, right? So he's just a monster. He's a slaughter machine, yeah?
He is going
It's kind of cool.
And he destroy anything that's going to be in front of him, and he's just going to keep going. That's all Angron is, yeah.
That's it. That's what you do. You use him in a kind of similar way that you use Fulgrim, like they're cruise missiles. You send them at what needs to die.
Cruise missiles. Angron's a nuke. Yeah.
Yeah. Angron's a bit less subtle. Angron's definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
F, not a PH.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. It's very interesting. And I mean, like, the strongest of them is Magnus. I mean, just by quite a significant margin, I would say. They have, I mean, I wouldn't even say that they've nerfed him. What they've done is sort of side graded him a little bit so that he's not quite as insanely epic as he was in his index. But that's not to say that he's not still an absolute holocaust when you put him down. He is. He's a monster, Magnus is. He can still one-shot really big monsters with his Gaze of Magnus.
I'm weirdly glad about that.
Quite easily.
If that thing got taken away, you just wouldn't feel like Magnus anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, right? He is that. He's always going to be the strongest because he combines all the physical capacities of a demon Primarch with being the most powerful sorcerer in the 41st millennium. So, yes, he's a monster. He's a total monster. I love what they've done with like the special characters too. You know, the lieutenants who are kind of them, for me, they've always been more interesting. I love the Primarchs to bits, love them to bits, but I love the mortal characters. I've always had a soft spot. Khan, thank God, is actually good now. They've always had issues with Khan. I don't know why. They've never been able to get Khan right. For some reason, in his rules, they've never gotten him right. He's really good now. He's really good. He can... They've done that thing where, hang on, let me get the book. You know, they've done that thing where, you know how he died, quote unquote, at the siege of the Emperor's Palace? Mm-hmm. Well, now he can and he got back up, effectively. Well, he does that. He does that in the game now. He can actually get back up, which is really, really cool. Also, I mean, as you'd expect, he kills things. Like, he basically, I mean, like, he really, on the charge, Gore Child, 8 attacks, he hits on 2+, strength 7, armor piercing -2, and they're all damage 3. So, he could have a really good go at big things like Primarchs and Titans and whatnot. He could give him a good go. He could give him a good go. And he's also got Berserker Fury. So the first time this model is destroyed, at the end of the phase, roll 1d6 on a 2+, set this model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, and not within engagement range of one or more enemy units with 3 wounds remaining, so he gets back up and can fight again. That's really nice, isn't it? That's really nice. I love that. Although,
really,
he loses out to Lucius. Lucius would, on a one-on-one, unless the dice went really badly for Lucius, Lucius just kills him. In fact, Lucius kills almost every special character of his scale in the game.
Khan killing the bastard.
Honestly, he's designed to be a character assassin. That's his whole shtick. That's his whole thing. So he's really tough and quick. So he moves 8 inches. Toughness 5. He's got a 4+ invulnerable save. He's got a feel no pain 5+. So after if you fail his armor save or his invulnerable save, you can take another save for the wounds that he loses. And if you roll a 5+, then you save it. He's also got, if he operates on his own, he's got lone operative, and that means he can't be targeted for shooting unless he's the closest unit to whatever's trying to shoot him. So you put him alongside something else.
What?
And they can't target him.
So
yeah. It's good, isn't it? It's good, right? Really good. Oh, yes. It does get worse, though. It gets worse. A challenge worthy of skill. Each time this model makes an attack that targets a character, a monster, or a walker unit, you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. So if he misses, you roll it again. If he doesn't wound, you roll it again.
No.
He massacres characters. He utterly and it gets worse. At the start of the fight phase, if this model is not leading a unit, so you've got him on his own, which is fine because he's got lone op, he gets fight first. So even if another unit charges him, he's going to fight them first and probably kill them. Lucius is almost an auto take in Emperor's Children armies. I mean,
it sounds like he's
so good.
Backbone of the Emperor's Children army.
He's brilliant, honestly. I mean, like they have done such a good job with Lucius. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not unkillable, not by any stretch of the imagination. But boy, is he! You want to kill him. You want to kill him. I would say the only character, like amongst this lot, that stands up against him is Typhus. Typhus is a bleeding nightmare. He's an absolute beast, Typhus is, as you could imagine, No, he is. I mean, and of course, you can attach him to things like Death Shroud. I mean, Typhus in a unit of Death Shroud is just not nice. It's just not nice. Yeah, if you're on the Death Guard side, it's bleeding great, but the only downside to Typhus is the fact that he moves 5 inches, so he's not quick, but he can deep strike because he's got Terminator armor, so it's like, does that even matter? Yeah. To be perfectly honest, he's a psyker, obviously, so he's got, and his scythe is, I mean, his scythe's got a name now, which is nice. It's not just a Man Reaper, it's called Lacrimae. Which is lovely, isn't it?
Round of applause. Well done.
Isn't that lovely? I mean, that's the other bit of new thing in the Death Guard Codex. The Plague Planet's got a name.
Okay.
It's called Munificence.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
For the first time ever, the way they get around it, because of course it's all just been called the Plague Planet forever. Since Realms of Chaos, it's been called the Plague Planet, right? That's what the Death Guard call it. Okay. They call it Munificence. Which is rather, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice. It's lovely because Sortiarius has got a name. So it's not the planet of the sorcerers anymore, or not just the planet of the sorcerers. We've got Sortiarius. So it's nice that the plague, can't, it was always a bit clunky, wasn't it? You just went around calling it the plague planet. The plague planet.
I like that.
It's lovely, that is. Ahriman. Ahriman is very, very interesting. They're heavily rewritten from the Index. Massively rewritten from the Index, actually. He is now, obviously, he is nowhere near as powerful as the other characters because, he wouldn't be, would he? In close combat, you get massacred by any of them because that's not him, right? He's a utility piece. He has these very interesting capacities. So he's got this psychic ability called Scryer of Fates. And that allows him to basically, you can redeploy, select up to 3,000 Suns unit from your army and redeploy them after deployment.
That's a bit.
That's really good. That's really, you're going to want him just for that. If he does nothing else the entire battle, that
mission right there
is an amazing ability. It so is. And also, you can put them into strategic reserves if you like as well, even if you've got the maximum number of units already in strategic reserves. So you can start with a lot of the Thousand Suns army off the board with Ahriman around. And that gives your opponents such a lot of headaches. Such a lot. Because they don't know when they're going to come. They don't know what they're going to do.
I like that.
It's clever. I love it. That's so much more Ahriman than he was in the Index.
It's more characterful, more personality.
It's so, it's sneaky. Totally. And that seems to have been the watchword. That seems to have been the watchword with these guys. And we can use the demons again.
There's absolutely no small thing.
Oh, thank God for, it's only in one detachment per book. It's fine. It's absolutely fine because the detachments give you buffs and special rules based on if thousands, like in the Thousand Suns unit, if Thousand Suns units are close to demon units, then both of those units will get buffs based on that proximity.
That works.
It's lovely. It's a lovely, something you're going to like, Adam, something you're going to like, which might make you want to collect the World Eaters. The World Eaters demon detachment is, do you know what it is? Do you know what it's called? It's called the Khorne Demonkin. Yeah. And it's the return of the Demonkin. Remember the Khorne Demonkin Codex? It's them. It's them. You've got the Blood Tithe. The Blood Tithe is back in this detachment.
That's awesome. That's actually very...
Blood Tithe is back. And it has... There is... Every single person I've seen who has reviewed this codex, they've got stuck on this one stratagem that's in the Khorne Demonkin book. It's called Summoned by Slaughter. And the way it works, it's one command point, so it's dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap. It occurs any phase when the last model in a unit is destroyed before removing it from play. So that's one of your units, that's one of the enemy units. It doesn't matter. Okay, so any Bloodletters unit that you have in reserve, you can immediately set that unit up anywhere on the battlefield within 9 inches of the destroyed model. It's one of, I would say, that is one of the most powerful stratagems in 40. It's filth, that is. Forget everything else in the Khorne Demonkin detachment.
Absolutely.
It's worth the price of admission for that stratagem. It's mental. It's mental. You can just force, like in a turn, you can force enemies off an objective just immediately. Just like, that's it. Bloodlettered units on it, and that's it. That's it. You can block. You can use it to block enemy units. It's absolutely mental, that stratagem is. And it's I'm very pleased it's there. Yeah. I just really like it. I think it's very characterful. I think it's lots of fun.
It's just really nice. Like, it also makes me think of the Blood Pact from the Gaunt's Ghosts novels.
Yeah. Eggs. Right.
Which is
right.
Really
yes. Cool. Yes, of course. there's stuff like that all the way through these books. Just little character beats and little things that are just like, you know, they're based in the background, and they've gone hard for it. They've gone really hard into the depths of these guys. The Emperor's Children book has got descriptions almost on every page of the various drugs that they synthesize and use and their effects. They are hideous. Because they're not normal. I mean, like, you know, normal. They're not normal drugs. They are like warp spawn, so they don't operate with regards to restrictions of reality or anything like that. There's one called scalathraxine dust, and it's a kind of crystalline dust that Emperor's Children rub into their eyes, and it starts to grow fractal crystals in their brains and in their eyes. It's foul. It's utterly brilliant, but they do it deliberately. They do it willingly, you know. Because why wouldn't you, right? Because the reality is the playground and nothing matters. And that's the other thing, right? The dynamics of the armies in background terms. So the World Eaters and the Emperor's Children are both shattered legions. They've got no coherency whatsoever. They can't unite. You know, there's no central authority to unite around. And even if they do come together, like the World Eaters did at Armageddon, for example, they only stay together for so long and then they fracture again. They cannot be a coherent threat. The Thousand Sons and the Death Guard, on the other hand, are completely different. They've still got centralized authority. They've got home worlds. They've got home bases, and they've got plans. They have agendas that they're following. In fact, the Death Guard book points out they are the second biggest legion in existence. Yeah, the Death Guard are the biggest, and the biggest one is the Black Legion.
That's cool. Yeah.
So Mortarion's got an empire. It's not just the Plague Planet. It's not just munificence. He's got an empire spread across the stars, like little Death Guard worlds, and fiefdoms all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, how cool. Cool is that? I just love the dynamic. I love the way, like, so Zeech and Nurgle are opposed, and their legions are kind of similar in weird ways. And Slaanesh and Khorne are opposed, and their legions are kind of weirdly similar in odd ways, and yet opposed at the same time. It's just, I'm very happy with what they've done here.
As a full 4-part series, they've managed to hit the nail right on the head. They managed to get this to work. Yeah,
for the first time ever, you know, Don't get me wrong, there are little niggles and things. There are little, you know, nitpicks one could make, but it all has such enthusiasm and such love for the lore and such intrigue, you know, that I cannot bring myself to bother with the nitpicks. If I'm
enjoy.
Perfectly honest, I think there's too much to enjoy. I think they've done a great job here. And for the first time, they feel like it's not like, oh, well, this legion is obviously the best one, and you're always going to just want to, if you're in a competitive frame of mind, you're always just going to want to take them. You know, it doesn't work like that. They're different. They feel very different for armies that are ostensibly power armor armies. They're essentially Space Marines. The remarkable difference between them.
Yeah, how do you make
it's quite impressive.
What is essentially more of the same, and from the sounds that they've managed to do it, they managed to create a mirror effect between two different cults, and then managed to make enough of a change that everything all together as a big jigsaw. It's actually really impressive, really, really impressive.
It's very impressive, and I've got to say, I mean, as I say, I'm really familiar with most of the background in these books, but they've been a joy to read. Absolute joy to read and to just, you know, make army lists from. That's the other thing, right? Having fun making army lists from these things is just, that is a real revelation, because there, as we've discussed before, there were previous editions of the game where it just wasn't fun because of the Force org chart and whatnot, forcing you to do this or forcing you to do that. This is a lot of fun because you can tailor the lists to the detachments.
Yes.
and that makes them very different. So, like you know, your Zarngor detachment in the Thousand Suns Codex, the armies are going to look and play remarkably different from the Risen Rubricae detachment, which is all about your Rubric Marines and your Scarab Occults. You know,
I mean, what? So, out of all four of them,
clever stuff.
I know what the answer's going to be here. Which one's your favorite?
I mean, you know, it is the Emperor's Children. It is the Emperor's Children. They're my legion. They've always been my legion. The aesthetics, the background. Love them to bits. Slaanesh is my favorite Chaos God. Fulgrim is my favorite Chaos Primarch and one of my favorite characters in the setting. So, you know, it's always going to be them. But the others, I mean, the others are not far off. They're not far off. I mean, like, the Thousand Suns one I frigging love, and the more I read it, the more I'm loving it. The Death Guard one I absolutely love, but it does need a points increase, which I think will happen.
Because from what you're saying, you know, they're... it's a little too...
Yeah, just to balance it out. It's a little bit. They are... Any fight against the Death Guard, they're not unbeatable. No army in 40k is unbeatable. They're not that overpowered. They just need... They don't need much. It's a tweak. A points increase here, a points increase there, and they'll be golden. They'll be absolutely fine, you know? They'll play like Custodes then, you know, where you've got these very limited numbers of models, but those models are friggin' elite.
I'm with you.
You know?
I see what you're selling.
The World Eaters, I'm so impressed with what they've done with the World Eaters. What is traditionally a very myopic army. And they've made them intriguing and flavorsome and given them loads of different styles and modes of play. It's a really good time to be a Chaos player or a Chaos fan. It's probably one of the best times in the game's history, really, in a nuts and bolts sense, you know?
Shitting ball.
Yes, Adam. Yes, it is. It is.
Yes.
I'll have to start with getting the Codex, obviously. And I think if you read the Codex, I've got a funny feeling you're going to go nuts.
Lots of mechanical extremities and limbs being lobbed off and replaced with stuff. So,
well, it's really, really funny. You should mention that because you know the new cult unit. Where are they? The Goremongers. That's exactly what they do. They hack off they hack off their own limbs and bits of their bodies and then attach mechanical bits to themselves to make themselves look like bloodletters.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? They've all got they've got these really crude like mechanical stilts attached to the stumps of their legs and whatnot, and it's really cool. They look really good.
Having just like really big chunky arms with chainsaw claws coming out the end and stuff like that. It's we're going to entire ideas.
Yes. Yes.
Help me!
Oh,
I'm in
dear.
danger.
Brilliant. Well, yeah. Well, guys, thank you for giving me the opportunity to just pour forth on the enthuse about the current state of the Chaos books because it is very good. It's very good.
Everywhere I've turned, they sound like they're absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I would like to have.
It's impressive. It's impressive,
but I will definitely be getting the World Eaters book because I've got an urge for World Eaters.
Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant, it's just such a fun read. I mean, like if you only buy it for the background and the imagery, it's just great fun to read. That's a night. There was a point with the codices where I kind of missed that because they weren't, But this one, yeah, it's just great to flick through, and just notice the little details and little things that they've thrown in to make the World Eaters just that much more interesting and complex. It's a lovely thing. It's a lovely, lovely thing.
We'll see. Right. I think, all that being said, it's probably time for us to start getting out of here. Andy, because I'm targeting you. Yeah. Break down your door. With a piece of paper in your face. Piece of paper says, where can people find you if they want you to? Answer the question. Answer it. John. Waiting for your answers.
I'll do it. I will. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy. I'm on the Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast as well, which you can find by just typing it in places, YouTube and Google again. Mm-hmm. And on here as well, I suppose.
Excellent. Andy, you've just done the Beast Machines series, haven't you, Andy? The toys.
Yeah. Me and Big D will be talking about the 07 movie toy line tomorrow if he's free.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, very interesting. You're going to do Mixmaster. Mixmaster is from that line. Mixmaster is the only toy I've actually flung against the frigging wall in fury.
Isn't that Revenge of the Fallen?
Is it Revenge of the Fallen? That one? Yeah, you're right.
Would have been the
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. And I've never done that with my toys.
Had a blackout.
Like, even as a kid, you know?
I replaced it with a Cybertron dive bomb's head, and he looks so much better.
Looks way better.
Oh, yeah, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, not a fan. I'm
sorry, Andy, that you've gone from the heights of Beast Machines to the lows of the 07 movie. Yes, of Beast Machines.
I mean, the Beast Machines toy line has kind of a...
Oh, yeah. Beast Machines is like the best of times and the worst of times, isn't it? You know, it's got like incredible highs and like...
dizzying highs.
What would you consider that? Yeah? What would you consider the incredible highs?
The incredible highs. I love Mirage. A lot of the Viacons are excellent. The Black Arachnia from that line is fantastic. The Jetstorm, the little one, not the big one. Not a fan of the big one, but the little one, the deluxe one. Mm-hmm. Superb piece of work. Superb piece of work he is.
Okay.
And some of the Battle Unicorn, that's a beautiful toy. Absolutely beautiful toy. And then you get stuff like Night Scream and whatnot, and it's like, Supreme Cheetor, one of the worst Transformers ever made.
Yes, 12 Night Terror Optimus Primals. I go to, when I used to go to TFN and AA, I would go to Typhoon. I would buy all of the Night Terror Optimus Primals that they had. I would then give them to people. Oops. Brilliant. I would then give them to people as we spoke. And that is why everybody...
Brilliant. Absolute brilliant.
A Night Terror Optimus Primal. George. I might have to sort that out. I might have to... yeah, I'll see if
oh no, is it heading my way?
As he sits... throne of lies. Screaming at you not to look at him.
Yeah.
Shit. He's a wonderful, wonderful little toy.
It's Striker, she's ace. Love Striker from the Beast Machines.
Yes, with all that being said, I think it's time for us to get out of here. George, where can people find you? Where can people find a piece of paper in your face?
Where can George
people can... Yeah, right. People can find me. Yeah, people can find me at the Exaggerated Elegy YouTube channel. There's an episode of Not the Same Log going up tomorrow about David Cronenberg / Stephen King's The Dead Zone. You can find links to all of my published work, my short stories, short story collections, and the anthologies that have been published in at strangeplaygrounds.com. Or if you go to Amazon and type in George Daniel Lee, you find my author page. There's a couple of articles coming out over at gingernutsofhorror.com, non-fiction, in a series called My Life in Horror, which takes a deep dive into various bits of fiction that have sort of influenced my life and my imagination and whatnot. And if you go to Arrow Films and if you look at the Quartet of Torment Hellraiser box set, myself and my colleague Kit Power, we're on the Hellbound disc on the featurette Hell is What They Wanted, which is an hour and 48-minute chat about Hellraiser and Clive Barker and queer horror fiction and stuff like that. And I think that's it. For now, there's other stuff coming up, which I can't talk about yet, but it's coming up.
Stuff.
There's a reasonable amount of stuff there. There's stuff, stuff occurring. Never feels enough, though.
Very, very well. As for myself, you can find the Fluffenhammer. Just search for the Fluffenhammer. You can find our Patreon. Go to our Patreon. You can join us for $1, $2, or $10. If you join us for the $10, you get a t-shirt, you get a mug, and you get stickers sent to you. Go on. It's the worst that can happen. You get a shit mug, you get a ridiculous t-shirt, and you get a silly sticker. Go on. $1 and $2, you get everything.
Woo! Excellent.
So you don't get the stickers and all them, but you do get the videos going up early on early access. You get the weekly Patreon show where we look back through a history or Games Workshop publication history and find a single article to talk about in theory. You also get the WHAM, the Warhammer Monthly comic show. Yeah, that just makes sense. Going up early. So yes, come on, join us on Patreon. We need your money. We need your money.
Good stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. These things. And over this year, the price of our hosting and the show and the website has gone up quite dramatically. So come on, come join us. Come on, bastards.
Yeah,
give us your money.
That's the way to get them in, Adam.
What
good cop, bad cop, love and hate, you know.
As for myself, you can find my stuff on Amazon. Just search for AD Nickel and my books will turn up there. You can also go to adnickel.weebly.com where you can get hold of art that I've drawn. You can buy that, or you can go and get the multitude of free audiobooks that I've done, including Philip K. Dick's We Can Remember It For You wholesale. So, yeah. And Mean Streets, a history of the 2D fighter.
Yes.
Gone. Free audiobooks. You know you want them. You bastards.
Excellent stuff.
All right.
And We Can Remember It For You wholesale is an amazing piece of work as well. Yeah, some of you may know it as Total Recall.
Yep. Yeah, the first Total Recall.
Very different. Yeah, very different from the book.
Second Total Recall is a great idea wrapped up in
a
mess. But yeah.
I'm
not going to get into that. Not going to get into that. So with all that being said, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much to Andy and George.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Always, yeah. Bye, guys.